Greetings, citizens. Welcome to another random cast, or until Lightning can come up with a name that he actually likes. Of course, with me as always is Lightning Dragon.
Now that you mention that, I do need to think of something.
That's-
I'm terrible with names.
Look,
I can't. It's not. It shouldn't be something cast. I don't know. But it's not like a
well,
review or anything. I
no,
don't
it's more
know.
of a.
Anyway, continue on with what you're gonna say.
These videos are more of a discussion of sometimes whatever's on our minds as far as the gaming industry goes. They're in this case here we're talking about Path of Exile versus basically Diablo 3, and basically how we feel that Path of Exile is a by far superior game. Now, to be honest with you, Lightning Dragon and I have not bought the expansion that came out for Diablo 3, which I heard changed a lot of stuff. But
Yeah, which everyone says is like it's made it so it's worth it. But you know, if you spend $60 for a game and it's not very good, and then you have to spend another $30 for an expansion that fixes the game, you've put I don't know how many dollars that is. $80 into the game.
$90.
Am I off? Nine. Okay, there we go. You put $90 into a game to make it be good. Now I know Jarvis and I have both spent more than that on Star Citizen. Hell, you can buy one chip and spend more than that. But Star Citizen is you're supporting the game, so you spend as much as you want to. It's just you're getting a ship in return for supporting the developers. With Diablo 3, you're buying a full-fledged game. It shouldn't cost $90 to get a decent game, and I'm not gonna spend $30 to buy the DLC. Hell, I love Fallout 4, and I'm not sure about spending full price on their DLCs. I think when they did the season pass at $30 was a very fair price. You know, buy it early and you get a discount, and then they raised it like, oh, that's too cheap. So it's like, well, it's not worth fucking $50. I mean, you know, I'm kind of cheap when it comes to things, but you know, yeah, Steam Summer Sale. I mean,
and that's the thing, you know, like Path of Exile, you don't actually need a Steam Summer Sale because it's a free game. And a lot of these games nowadays, they nickel and dime you all to hell. And even the free-to-play games often will try to nickel and dime you. Now, I will admit I have spent a lot of money on free-to-play games, but that's because I have voluntarily decided to support them, like Warframe. I love Warframe. I think it's a great game, and I think they do a great job. Path of Exile, there are things that they charge you for are cosmetics. You know, maybe you want like flamey footfalls after you, or you want a different.
Or you can change your zombie minions into mummy minions.
Yeah,
and you can also buy bank slots. But those are like the two biggest things.
Yeah, and so when like something like, you know, when the expansion comes out for Diablo 3, and they're like, oh, it really fixes the game. My opinion, that should have been handed out for free. Now, don't get me wrong. I was always a huge fan of Diablo 1 and Diablo 2, but okay, let's look at a company
Diablo 2 is awesome.
Oh yeah, and that's what Path of Exile is. It takes everything you love in Diablo 2, it ramps it up to the nth level. It keeps that kind of classic art. So I think there was Diablo developers who worked on Path of Exile, and they kept
it was the original Diablo 1 team.
Yeah, it is so good. It is so good. I remember there's one review that was on Steam that said hours played 8,000, and then the only review things it had thumbs up review said someone please stop me. It was like 8,000 hours of playtime. Like, holy crap, dude. So
yeah, I only have 49, but that's because it wasn't on Steam when we first started playing.
Yeah, I remember that review something like wife left me, got the kids, got the house, 10 out of 10 would play again. So yeah, it's fantastic. Of course, you see footage of it here in the background. The skill tree on it is just massive. It just blows out. You can basically there are classes, quote unquote. There are more starting positions on that skill tree.
Yeah, which is weird and good at the same time, and it's another kind of pro to the game. Like for as the game sits right now, it'd be hard to add more quote unquote classes to the game. Like, you're not going to see a barbarian class added, but you can pretty much play whatever you want. Like, I started off playing, like when we started playing the game again, I started off as a shadow, which is kind of like your melee with a little bit of magic, and I went basically straight up to the witch tree, and I have like maximum amount of minions. So I have like seven zombies, and I can summon 9 skeletons, and I almost don't even have to fight anymore because I have such a huge minion army. I just kill everything.
That's true.
And I didn't start as the quote unquote mage. The benefit to this is you can start wherever you want to kind of get of like, what do I want to start off doing, and then you work towards it. Where with like Diablo, you start off as, this is what you're going to do, this is what you're going to be doing towards the end of the game, and you know, there's a lot of powers in some of these games that no one's going to use because it doesn't work very well or doesn't scale very well. I mean, there was powers in Diablo 2 that basically you just ignored it after a certain level, or like, you know, you can grab it and you can use it a little bit, but it's only a stepping stone to this power because it doesn't scale very well. And in Path of Exile, you have skill gems, so you can use any skill gem you want as long as you have high enough strength or high enough dexterity or high enough intelligence, and you don't have to worry about it. So it's like, oh well, I don't want to do summon zombies anymore. Well, that's kind of stupid for me since I've put so much stuff into it. But let's say you're using a lot of cold magic and you're like, oh, I'm tired of cold magic. Well, you don't have to like take points out of everything unless you've specialized in cold damage. But if you've just done spell damage or casting speed and stuff like that, you can swap over to fire, or you can swap over to electricity, or you can even combine gems. There's support gems where like my fireball spell that I have does lightning damage and fire damage, and I have a chaos spell, which is basically like your poison damage, but it's not really poison because there's actual poison damage, but it falls under chaos damage. It's a poison spell basically, so it's kind of weird. But I have it where it splits into 3 projectiles because normally it's only 1 projectile, and you can do these like different builds, and you can, you know, make your minions have more hit points or do more damage with these support gems. And Diablo 2, one of their last major patches, they had it where like if you put so many points into this, it feeds into this, but it wasn't the same depth and like level of what Path of Exile skill gems are. So I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, like with my character that
you can talk now.
Well, no, that's fine. I'm glad, you know, to jump in. No, my character that you're seeing on the screen here, I started off as basically a dual wielder. Not dual wielder, but a two-handed sword. And the reason is that I was going down the strength line. Now, I went down the strength line until I hit this skill, this major skill that says now strength applies to bow damage. Then I shot down the dexterity line and now wield a bow that uses dexterity and strength bonus, and I use an axe and a shield, so I can tank and I can range fight. And everything I've done with this is focus on the 2 types of gameplay I love the most in one character. And you know, it's only like level 33. I think the game goes up to level 100. Tons of room to grow, tons of new abilities, tons of items. Long way to go. And they're always adding things to this game. And when they add an expansion, it's free. You just keep playing. The game completely just it just supports itself through cosmetics. And you can have those high-end packages. I remember seeing a long time ago someone could pay that someone could throw $1,000. They'd make a weapon with it. They'd custom make the weapon design that they'd sent them, and they would have that weapon.
Oh yeah, I remember about that.
Yeah, that was like I guess you could say that was the Star Citizen equivalent for yeah. But you know,
you turn yourself into a whale.
Yeah. So, but basically, that was obviously the rarest thing. But obviously, we're talking about little things like, you know, little graphical effects for $1 here, $1 there.
Bank slots.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying is that, you know, I won't pay $30 to get my Diablo 3 fixed. It won't happen. When I don't like this game, but when X Stillbirth or X Rebirth is what it's properly called. Now I give the devs credit for this one thing and one thing only. The game sucked. It still sucks, but it sucked even worse when it came out. They came out with an expansion, and anyone who had ordered the game before a certain date, they gave the expansion to for free as an apology for the game not having certain features it was supposed to have when it came out. Now, love them or hate them, like or hate the game, the policy I am completely in agreement with. When Blizzard came out and people were saying, what is this crap? It's easy. It doesn't it looks pretty, but it's got issues. This whole debacle with the auction house and things like that. Um,
the real money auction
Real
house,
money
because
auction
I think
house.
the auction house,
Yeah,
the non-real money auction house, I thought was great. Because there's a lot of times you get because it's random drops, right? You get crap drops. You get crap drops, and then all of a sudden you're like, well, I can't progress anymore because my gear is like level 2 and I'm like level 20 now, and I've only been kind of getting my way through it by just being good at the game. That's what happened to me when I first started playing Diablo 3. I mean, and I
get
went to
good
the auction
scrub.
house and I bought a whole bunch. What?
Get good scrub. Yeah,
Get
he
good
went.
scrub. No, I went and I bought a bunch of items, and it was like a raffle stomp after that because I was not getting any good drops. And then they were like, "Oh, real money auction house doesn't work." Well, no one gets the auction house anymore. You see these toys? Brr, they threw them on the ground and broke them, and they stepped on them, and they said, "You can't have this anymore because you didn't know how to play with it." It's like, what?
Yeah,
I
and
mean,
to
I don't know
me,
if they brought it back or not, but that's what I heard.
yeah, but I have no interest anymore. And the auction house was fine, and the idea of players could sell to one another to get the gear that they wanted, and that was I think was reasonable because it was a way that you could trade with other players without having to join their game and then ask somebody if they had X, Y, or Z, and then go through the whole rigmarole. Boom, auction house done. Fine. They got World of Warcraft. They know how to work an auction house. Let's just apply to Diablo. Fine, I get that. And that's why they wanted to make an online component only for that because the game online only, which was because if you had people, but I still think they should have made it so that if you had a single player character, like an offline character, you couldn't use it for the online portion. That would have been to me a simple solution. Everything
Which
else,
they had that in Diablo 2, and
right,
if you don't count Open BattleNet.
right, exactly. So I mean, I don't know why they, but anyway. So, but I can't really complain about that because Path of Exile is online only. Uh, but and the thing is that when my internet is working. Last night we were playing.
You know exactly what I was thinking there.
Yes, I
We were
do.
trying to play yesterday, and it was like, user has lost connection, user has joined connection. It was just like every 5 minutes, Jarvis would lose internet, just enough internet that Speak would be all gurgly googly, and then he'd get disconnected from Path of Exile. So our last 20 minutes were basically like, okay, I went and did this, and I went and did that, and then I'm going to bed now because it's 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, yeah. And in fact, through clever editing, you did not hear it, but our conversation when I started talking about Path of Exile, it disconnected me again from TeamSpeak early on, and Lightning had said, "Boy, you can even talk. You even get disconnected when you talk about Path of Exile." it's like, no, stop it.
It's an internet conspiracy.
Yeah, I was just like, stop it, stop it. No, no, not the game's fault. It's my internet. I live out in a little town sometimes that decide that it's raining, so your internet doesn't work today. No, but aside from all that, Path of Exile, guys. If you weren't happy with Diablo 3, if you wanted more Diablo 2, and you wanted Diablo 2 like ramped up, it's free on
And in
Steam.
about 2 weeks, we're gonna get another big, huge expansion.
10 days. 10 days you get another big expansion.
There.
Once again, free. And get in on it because it won't cost you a penny ever. And it's the game that you wish Diablo 3 was. So it's got lore. It's got random dungeon areas. It's all randomized, just like you always saw and you always liked in Diablo.
Yeah, like Diablo 2. Well, I think wasn't Diablo 3 that didn't randomize a lot of the maps, and that was something people were complaining about? Or am I just projecting here?
I think you're projecting. I think. Well, maybe the
I
one
could have
that
swore there was something
there was
about
there
the
was a
maps,
bridge.
though, that
There
people
was
were
a
mad
bridge
about.
one. There was a bridge one. I think that wasn't very randomized, but I don't know. But other than that, I mean, yeah, whatever. The point is that Diablo 3 was kind of a letdown, but this has been kind of the pattern that Blizzard has had in the last few years. They've gotten really big. They put out World of Warcraft, and they got really really big, and then they kind of just sat back and said, "Yep, we're done with quality control. Everyone just keep pumping out games," and hopefully.
StarCraft 2 was I was a huge StarCraft 1 fan. I loved it. I played more StarCraft than I played of Diablo 2, and I played like for 2 years or something, like every day 2 years on Diablo 2. I mean, I went and played on the hardcore servers. I had a level 82 Amazon that I was using javelins, and I had a bunch of the rare weapons and stuff that we had farmed for. It was nuts. I played the shit out of that. And I was really excited for StarCraft 2 when it came out, and it's like, Well, first of all, you don't have all the same units that you had in Brood War. Why? I mean, it's you don't. We have terabytes of hard drive space now. Who cares if there's a couple extra assets in the game? Oh, but don't worry, because they're still in there in the game. You just can't play them in the regular mode. But you can use them if you have custom maps or in the campaign. That's fucking stupid. It's bullshit. Give me back my lurkers. And I guess one of the other ones that I really liked, to forget what it was. But and then they had
two
DLCs come after that to finish the game. So you bought a third of a game. I mean, I used to love Blizzard. I mean, StarCraft 1 and Diablo 2 were just some of the best games I have played. And ever since they came out with WoW, they're just not a good company anymore. They just don't give a shit.
Well, I heard that Overwatch, I think that's the one that just came out from them, is actually getting good reviews so far. But I had to take that with a grain of salt because everyone's got that freshly unwrapped game.
New game feeling.
Right. How is it going to hold up a week from now, a month from now? We'll see. I mean, that's the thing. Is every game is amazing when you first play it. We did the Solaris review. I'm still playing Solaris. I still have a single player campaign that I'm running with. I jump on, I play for like an hour or so, advance a little bit. When I have when I'm listening.
I have a laptop sitting on my desk that can play Solaris better than my friggin' desktop computer because it's so screwed up. But I don't want to plug in the monitor and plug in the keyboard and plug in my mouse and then play from the laptop, which plays the game amazingly. It's an i7. Hell, it's choked down because the stupid IT put 32-bit operating system on there. But yeah, it's 32-bit OS, integrated graphics, i7 mobile edition, and it just annihilates that game. And I'd love to play more, but it's like I mean, it's not my laptop. I was given it to see, hey, will it work on this? So it's like, okay, yeah, it's definitely the computer, and I don't want to get a lot of stuff on there. I guess I can cloud save it, but I hate that weird crap. But yeah, no, Solaris is still a good game.
Yeah, and I hate to say it, as much as I was waiting on Master of Orion 4, effectively, I haven't gone back to it since I've been playing Stellaris. To me, it feels so much deeper, and it's not ripping on Master of Orion, so I'll never take that away from what I'm trying to say, but it's a style. I find that the style that Stellaris presents fits me better than even Master of Orion, which is not good for any sort of chance of a social life for me in the future. So the thing is that if you haven't tried it, once again, just give it a whirl, and you just won't regret it. You really won't regret it.
Do the stuff with the things,
and the stuff,
skiing and.
Anyway, we're tired.
It's stop now before it gets out of control.
Yeah, it's 1:30 in the morning. We're both brain dead. So I still have to work tonight to do not my actual work, but I have to get back into the persistent universe and try to find some salvage.
Crack the whip.
To make a video about salvaging outside of Yella. So yeah, that's gonna be more work, more videos, more things coming.
That's it. We're going home now. You guys don't have to go home, but you can't stay here.
Exactly. All right, guys. Well, thanks for joining us for another Until Lightning Names It Something Different random cast. And
I really do.
I got to give management control on something. So anyway, guys, thanks for listening.
And I'm terrible with naming, too. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye. Yes, you suck. Greetings, citizens. Today we're heading out to Yella to take a look at the asteroid field and to see what kind of salvage we can find. Now, as you can see, my medium armor obscures more vision, but at the very edges of my screen, you can still see stars.